home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
Hey, Jamie Allman here for Window World. Did you know that Window World offers a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor? They are one of the only 2 replacement windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. Window World St. Louis has been owned and operated by a group of born and raised St. Louis residents for more than 23 years. And now Window World is offering 36 months same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today. 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common-sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Dive into adventure with Great American Divers. We're your local veteran-owned scuba center offering PADI certification courses, equipment repairs, and dive travel opportunities. From beginners to experts, we got you covered. Kids can join our SEAL Team classes, and we even host pool parties. Our experienced staff is passionate about teaching, and we're the only center in the area with our own indoor heated pool. Great American Divers on Central School Road in St. Charles. Visit greatamericandivers.com. Great American Divers, where adventure runs deep.
News Talk STL. This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by STL Fenceworks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and a happy fancy Thursday, because we're not going to be here on Friday. So I want to make sure you all know that this is hereby a fancy Thursday. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy 3-martini lunch to all of you and yours. This is the Allman Report. Jamie Allman here, Johnny over there, and that is how we're going to roll today. I've got a special little surprise for you, because it was kind of a surprise to me, which is pretty crazy. So you guys know my son Aiden, and he and I, when he was little, like, we were thick as thieves, because we went to all the car races, all the concerts, all that kind of stuff. And so he and I have a great relationship in that way. And he's 21 now and kind of on his own, halfway between Tempe, doing some sales around the country. And he was, last time I talked to him, because I went to Chicago, and last time I talked to him, he was in Kansas City, because he was going to Kansas City. He went to one of the World Cup games, but he was doing some sales in Kansas City. And next thing I know, he's up in Washington, D.C., like today. And he's like, yeah, it's hot here. It's 101 degrees. I'm like, what are you doing in D.C.? Oh, I just wanted to come by the fair. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So that's the story from my son, Aiden. And so I'm going to be talking to him at about 12:20, going to be checking in with him. But that's typical Aiden, man. No fear, and just kind of like suddenly, it's not like the fair is on the way home from Kansas City. He's in a rental car. It's not like I'm going to go back to St. Louis, but I'm going to go via Washington, D.C. So, I got to tell you, man, it's going to be fun to check in and figure out how it's going to go. I don't know whether you noticed that I saw this morning where there was somebody on X who said, hey, the Fox and Friends is doing the show and there's from the fair and there's nobody here. And there was a community note on the X that said the fair doesn't open for another 2 hours. So people are trying to find ways to kind of downgrade the fair and all this kind of stuff. And by now it's getting so old because we're so tired of it and because it just is such nonsense that it's not even worth getting mad about anymore, the way people are talking about this thing, because nobody cares. And my son is a great example of that. People are just going. And by the way, it's a fair that takes place over 16 days. So it's not even the holiday yet. So most people are working. Would you be able to go to the fair today? Probably not. Maybe tonight. I don't know, but you're not gonna. It's not even the holiday, but it takes place over 16 days, and that's the reality of it. That's what's so crazy about all this. And so I'm not even gonna be worried about it. There's so much ground to cover today. By the way, anyway, I want to follow up on this couple that climbed the Empire State Building yesterday. Actually, I really love this story. And as far as I know, it was a wedding proposal and everything. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about that. Stephen A. Smith, you guys know how I feel about him. And you also know that I don't trust him, never have. He's kind of like Bill Maher to me. Like everybody always plays his sound bites when he seemingly supports Trump. And he's everybody's plush toy when he supports Trump. But you give him 3, 2, 1, and he'll go back to his usual self. Stephen A. Smith going off on the L.A. Lakers because they have white stars on the team. I kid you not. Speaking also of basketball, WNBA, can you believe this? Caitlin Clark's coach won't even defend her after she gets her throat punched and gets beaten up in this thing called the women's prison system of the WNBA, even though revenues have jumped 27%, almost 30% since Caitlin Clark joined there. Speaking of, I was talking about the bicentennial, how exciting that was, and was talking to Jim Carafano yesterday about the Jimmy Carter. And it just so happens that Mayor Mamdani of New York has just taken a page out of the Jimmy Carter playbook. Do you guys remember when we had to turn our furnaces down to 68? Everything had to be kept at 68 and whatever, just to save energy and do all this kind of stuff. Well, it's hotter than hell up in New York. And as I mentioned, it's 101 degrees in D.C., so it's hotter than the hinges of Hades up there. And I love that kind of weather anyway. But anyway, Mamdani decided he was going to urge New Yorkers to set their thermostats at a certain temperature. Listen to this.
To alleviate the stress.
Let me just do that again here.
And to every business owner, please set your thermostats to 78 degrees to alleviate the stress on our power grid.
Yeah. So set the thermostat to 78 degrees to alleviate the stress on the power grid. And business owners, he wants to do that. You notice how he's not asking regular homeowners to do that. Why would they inconvenience themselves, right, to save the power grid? But that's the kind of attitude we get from people who are of this collectivist mindset, and that is what's good for everybody else to kind of sacrifice and give this and redistribute this. Not for me, though. Like Mayor Mamdani's not going to turn his thermostat up to 78 degrees at the Gracie Mansion, is he? Is that going to be there? Because if I'm a reporter, I'm asking, what's the temperature inside of Gracie Mansion? What's the thermostat set there? So instead, he wants all businesses to do the dirty work.
And to every business owner, please set your thermostats to 78 degrees to alleviate the stress on our power grid.
Why every business owner and not every homeowner if you're going to do this? Well, that's because in the collectivist world, again, the people, so to speak, are the ones who are siphoning and not sacrificing under any circumstances. They're not asked to sacrifice. It's the people with the means and the resources and the money and the this and the that are all asked to sacrifice. So this is like really a great example of what the collectivist mindset really is, and that is go after the people with the money or the resources because they can afford it, because they can do this, because they can do that. But I'm not going to sacrifice anything. I'm not going to turn my thermostat up to 78 degrees to save the power grid. I'm going to make McDonald's do it. I'm going to make the restaurant do it. I'm going to make the office building do it. I'm going to make everybody who has somebody walk in there, they're the ones going to do it. Well, why is that, Mayor Mamdani? Because they can. We can't, because it would be uncomfortable for us. That's exactly the kind of mindset you get in the collectivist world, and it's so typical, but it also reminds me of Jimmy Carter. Now, on to back to our patriotism deal here. So you'll see, we've already seen some of the polls out there and everything else that are showing how so-and-so amount of people are feeling patriotic for July 4th and this and this. I'm hoping you don't listen to these polls. They're all people who are in newsrooms coming up with ways to kind of crap all over our patriotic day, our July 4th, our 250th anniversary, everything else. So, and by the way, I think, Phil, you mentioned Jason says this, I'd set mine 68 in advertised as the coldest place around. Okay, I'm assuming I'm going to just, because I can't really understand the sentence, but I'm assuming it would say, if I wrote it, I'd set mine at 68 and advertise as the coldest store around. Okay, that makes sense. Phil says, too much strain on the power grid, yet they want you to buy an electric car. Exactly. That's the thing that is so crazy about, again, this green mindset and everything else. These guys have no science to back up anything that they're trying to lay on people. And by the way, if there's a problem with the power grid, maybe they ought to fix it. Because if it's that easy to put the power grid in jeopardy because it happens to be hot in New York City in the summer, that's another problem altogether. Maybe Governor Hochul and all these other people ought to stop running their mouths about everything under the sun and maybe do something about fixing or shoring up or doing whatever to the power grid. Because honestly, if you have to ask business owners to turn up their thermostats to save the power grid, you've got more trouble than you would think. Jason says, talk to text. My bad. No, but dude, it's no problem. By the way, speaking of talk to text, maybe you guys can tell me this. So, I for some reason, talk to text doesn't capitalize names. So I always have to go back and capitalize, because I'm not going to send somebody a text with their name in it and not have the first letter capitalized. I'm not going to do that. And it's not a good look, and I have a problem doing that. And so I have to go back and put the capital letter in there all the time. It never, hey, Holly, whatever. I was texting Holly Rader the other day, and it never capitalizes her name. It doesn't do that for anybody. And then I always, whenever I, it has since changed. I'm glad it's picked up. I guess it's never picked up on any of the capitalization. But I remember whenever I text the kids, and they do the same, and Aiden especially, I don't know why it stuck with him more than anything else. So whenever we text, I always at the end of every single text say, "I love you, Dad," and he says the same thing. "I love you, Aiden." At the end of every text, doesn't matter. So I think one time it was because I can't remember, but he was a little kid, and he was the first time he was texting and everything else. He sent me some really super impersonal type of thing, and I was teasing him about it, but he never forgot. But anyway, I still do it with the girls, everybody. But it one time in the first few moments, it said, "I love you, sad." So I was like, I had to put up with that each and every time. So I finally fixed it. So voice to text, yeah, it's dicey. Let me tell you something. Well, it's a fancy Thursday.
There may be trouble ahead.
It's Common Sense Radio.
But while there's moonlight and music and love
The
and
3
romance,
martini lunch, my
let's
friends.
face the music and dance.
Got my son Aiden up there at the fair. We're going to talk to him on the other side of this.
Before they
It's Common Sense Radio, News Talk, STL, The Allman Report.
still have the chance. Let's face the music and dance.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck, taxed. Your property, taxed. Everything you buy, taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Looking to celebrate the 4th of July with a bang? Then look no further than Powder Monkey Fireworks. We've got bottle rockets, fountains, cakes, mortars. Our selection is endless with low prices and no gimmicks. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you choose the perfect fireworks to make your holiday unforgettable. You'll go bananas at Powder Monkey, Highway 94 in St. Charles, on Westwood in Weldon Spring, and on Brendel in Rocky Mount. Don't want to fight the crowds? Order online at powdermonkeyfireworks.com.
When I have business clients or guests from out of town, I often take them to Cafe Napoli. I know they're going to enjoy any of the Napoli locations. Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Napoli 2 in Town and Country, Napoli 3 in St. Charles, next to Napoli C, Napoli Kirkwood, or Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in the Chesterfield Valley. Excellent food and intellectual conversation, if they bring the intellectual conversation. And NapoliSTL.com, NapoliSTL.com.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
What I'm about to say might shock you. I would apologize in advance, but I firmly believe in what I'm going to say. I'm going to praise National Public Radio. In the past, I've noted NPR and PBS can produce quality, non-leftist programming, educational, informative, even entertaining. Why am I fully praising NPR this time? Correspondent Totenberg had rushed out the Supreme Court the other day, immediately notified the network Justice Alito was retiring. NPR immediately posted it. And then they all realized no one's picking up what should be a major story. Why? It was false. Totenberg personally wrote a letter of apology to Justice Alito, read it on air. NPR stripped her original story from its homepage. She said, I misheard what was said. And even with 50 years of experience, I assumed without added verification, making a rookie mistake. She was rushing to be first before becoming accurate. Now, before you rush in and start condemning her, let me point something out. There are those in this business who have done that, and there are those in this business who will. And yes, that includes me.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Like Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
The Allman Report, sponsored by Gemini Wealth Group.
It's a most unusual day. Feel like throwing my worries away. As an old native-born Californian would say, it's a most unusual day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy fancy Thursday to all of you and yours. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the 3 Martini Lunch. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. I told you earlier about all the attempts by some people on the left and beyond to kind of throw cold water on the fair and our celebration up there in D.C., and actually they could probably use a little cold water because it's 101 degrees up there. Scott Jennings on CNN, when we talked about how there's this divide in the country, and he called it a patriotism gap. Here's what he had to say.
To be more of a celebration of him than it is of our country.
Scott, you were at the event today at the Roosevelt Library, which looks awesome. How do you think 250 is going compared to what the president wanted it to be?
Well, if I first just may say a word for the Teddy Roosevelt Library, it was well attended today. The president spoke to several hundred people at the library, and then he had a huge crowd in the amphitheater here, which if you've never come to Medora, is one of the most unique and interesting places in the United States. But look, I think America 250 is a great thing for our country, and I think the president's right to lean into it. And I think there's a very simple explanation about some of the attendance, and it's because, and you can see it in the polling. Don't take my word for it. Ask the Gallup poll, ask NBC News poll. We have a patriotism gap in this country. Republicans love this country. They're patriotic about this country, and Democrats aren't. They just aren't. They're not.
And that's Scott Jennings' take on the whole thing. But you know what? Here's the thing about the attendance I want to tell you about, though. It's over 16 days, and it's in Washington, D.C., which is an urban area. You don't have a whole lot of people who are able to kind of travel, do whatever. And over the weekend, it'll be full. So that's how it's going to go. I know one person who was there, as I promise you, my son, Aiden, who is 21 years old, super proud of this man. And buddy, first of all, the last time I checked, because we were in Chicago last weekend, and the last time I checked, you were in Kansas City. You sent pictures of you going to the World Cup game and everything else. And then next thing I know, this morning, you're in Washington, D.C. going to the fair, dude. I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Because, you know, it's not like D.C. is on the way home. You know what I'm saying? So what prompted you to go there?
So, yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Honestly, it was about 6 hours. So I went over to Tennessee. I was up by, like, the Bristol, Virginia border up in Tennessee. And I was heading back to St. Louis today, and I was like, you know what? I keep seeing everything about America 250, the fair. I was like, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Like, this probably won't happen again, something like this during my lifetime. 6 hours out of the way, like another 11, 12 hours back, compared to 3 months from now thinking, you know what, I probably should have went and checked it out. I think it's way worth it to get up here.
No doubt, buddy. I love your sense of adventure and how you just kind of dropped everything and said, you know, I'm going to go and take a look. It's something I would have done, that's for sure, and really proud of you for doing it and getting up there. So what's it like up there now?
So honestly, it's really cool. I can't lie. I wasn't expecting 101 and super humid, but it's tolerable. They got water everywhere. All the booths are air conditioned. It honestly is. It's beautifully set up. It looks like it was set up pretty well too. Like it's not like they spent a crazy amount of money on it, but it looks very polished and professional. Like everybody, all the booth workers have been like amazing, super nice, cordial, answering questions, just greeting people. Went over to the Ferris wheel a little bit earlier and have just been walking through all these booths, which are actually really cool. I don't know any other way you'd be able to go to all the states in about like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
That's really possible.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So each booth is devoted to a state, and so what's for instance in a booth that is reflective of the state? That's cool.
So honestly, it varies. It's kind of crazy. I've seen some that are really, really phenomenal, and then a couple that they're not bad, but they're a little more, I guess, lackadaisical. But I've seen a lot. It's a lot of just information about the state, like some stuff about when it was founded, like the people who founded it, how it was tied into like the founding of America, or if it was one of the later states, obviously when it got introduced to the Union. But overall, it really is just a good representation of the state itself. Like it has agriculture for a lot of like the agricultural states, like Iowa, Georgia, states that have a lot of agricultural. They have all of the different products there actually too, which is pretty cool. Even to, I'm blanking on the actual name, but one of them was a big cereal state, so they had cereal boxes that everybody could go out there and grab. So it's pretty cool. It's a good little tour and sneak peek into each state. Only thing I guess I would have brought down is a whole little grass patch from everywhere and see what the grass is like everywhere. That would have been kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that absolutely bluegrass and all that other stuff. And I guess too, you said there's a Ferris wheel there, and so I guess it's a mix. So some of it is very kind of classy, and the booth's air conditioned, whatever, and it's kind of a little fancy. They got that there, but. Like, are there people wandering around eating turkey legs and funnel cakes and stuff, or like, what's that like?
So I haven't, unfortunately, found the turkey legs yet, but they do actually. It's kind of funny. They have a lot of the normal fare concessions, like the big lemonade cups, the like reusable lemonade cups, candy, slushies, snow cones, all that good stuff. And then they do have some little snacks and like little trinkets. They got a little Missouri cup, a Pennsylvania water bottle, some little booklets from a couple of the stations, they have like a little passport book. It's actually pretty cool. I've been seeing almost everybody's been going through on that. They have like all the states inside the passport book, and you just go to each one and get a little stamp on your passport that shows you went there.
Very cool. Have you seen the reflecting pool yet, or that hasn't happened yet?
I have not. That's actually, I think I've got about 10 more states left to hit. And then I'm going to head over there and maybe check out a little bit more of Washington. But it does, even just on the walk over, since I didn't even have to park too far, which is pretty nice. It's beautiful. It looks all cleaned up. There's not really a ton of trash anywhere. It looks, honestly, it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, it is. I remember hanging out with you. It was a great trip that we had when we went to President Trump's first inauguration up in D.C. and got a chance to go, for instance, to Mount Vernon and see a couple of other sites here and there. It is a great city, and especially when it is shining and there's attention paid to it and, you know, it's taken care of. It's absolutely a beautiful city and rightfully treated as a gem right now on our 250th anniversary birthday party. So how is it among people your age, 21 in their 20s? I mean, I'm sensing that there really is a great deal of patriotism and love of this country. It doesn't have to be love of the politicians or whatever, but I'm sensing that your generation is a lot more patriotic than perhaps even the one before.
Most definitely, honestly. I've seen a lot of guys and girls like around my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger, and like kids super excited with their families out here. So I would say, yeah, definitely. There's a lot more, I'd say, overall patriotism among young people, not specifically catered to like, oh, Republican, Democrat, politician, whatever, but more just catered to the fact that at the end of the day, America's great, and there's no reason that all the attention it's getting, especially the bad attention in the past couple of years, should be perpetrated, especially around the world. And I think, honestly, even more, and this is kind of a good little cherry on top, but even everything with the World Cup, it kind of fell in a nice little window between all the major like NBA finals and all the sports, so everybody could actually really just lock in on the USA, get all of the people from other countries like Europe, all those guys into the U.S. and really just show and see everybody super happy and really want to be here. And that also, I feel like, gives everybody in America, especially people around my age, a really good sense of, you know what, it's actually not as bad as people tell everybody it is. It's not really horrible. It's not miserable. It's not disgusting. Sure, every country has their pitfalls and every country has the things that they're amazing at. But I think especially the World Cup, and then this is a great little cherry on top to kind of bring everything together. That really, really propelled, I think, my generation to be super patriotic, especially from this year on.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed watching the people from other countries come here and see everything in reality. And it's not just about going to Buc-ee's or the Waffle House or whatever. It's about seeing the attitudes of Americans and how people actually get along, how our neighborhoods are really groovy, and we say hello to people here. That was one of the things that really surprised me, is that I think they were from Scotland or maybe even from England, where they were like, people say hi to you, like people talk to you here. And it's like, I didn't know that wasn't the case over there. So it really, there's so much to be proud of as it relates to this country. And I'm so glad we actually have somebody in the White House who seemingly pays attention to some of these little details. And some of that is actually important in terms of celebrations and things like that.
Most definitely. No, I think it's amazing. Even as much, that he's getting for all this kind of stuff, I think this was really what the citizens of the United States needed to really bring everything together, whether everybody can get here, which kind of like you said earlier, it's definitely not the easiest event for people to make it to. Like, I kind of just happened to just be in the 6 to 7 hour vicinity of it that I could swing by. But I would imagine even at the other ones in different states when they're having the 250 fairs or the 250 celebrations, I know those are pretty packed out. And I think it is really, really well worth it, and something that I feel like has been overlooked, especially in the past, or at least my lifetime, of just really big like celebrations of America and things just like this to really show like, hey guys, like we're not just the country that everybody says we are. We're not a third world country. We're a first world country. We're America. We do things the right way. We have one of, if not the best country in the entire world, and we need to show it to people. And I think this is a really, really good representation of what we can do, because it's a good proof of like, you know what, we can do this. Why don't we do this more often?
Yeah, no doubt. Talking to my son, Aiden Allman, 21 years old, up in D.C. at the fair, just on a lark, just decided, hey, I think I'm going to swing by the fair. Very cool, buddy, and I love the stories. And I'm just looking at one of the texts you sent today at about 11 o'clock, and you said, just got to D.C., tons of F-16s flying around. So you saw the airplanes all over the place?
That was actually really cool. That happened. I think I looked at the schedule, and that was just happened to be right when I was pulling across the Potomac into D.C. They had like a Thunderbird flyover like air show that they were doing across the entirety of D.C. So I just heard the F-16s ripping, looked up, and then I just kept seeing them circle around, fly past Washington Monument, break off, do a couple of air tricks. It was really, really cool. It was honestly something that I'd seen like flyovers before, like air shows before, just like plane trick shows before, but never just F-16s kind of seemingly, I know obviously they weren't just flying willy-nilly, but seemingly just having a fun time in the decent skies.
Yeah, I just love that. I was telling people all week long, I remember I was 13 years old when we had our bicentennial. And so I remember that summer really vividly because it just seemed like it was a lot of fun. It seemed like people were, and again, it didn't matter who was in the White House, whatever. It just seemed like people were really enjoying and appreciating the patriotism, the country, flags everywhere, just people kind of having fun. And this summer reminds me a lot of that, especially just with people like you say, with the F-16s, just people having fun, enjoying life, and embracing the summer and embracing the country. And I think the World Cup really added to that. I know you got a chance to go to a World Cup match in Kansas City, correct? How was that?
Yeah, no, it was really fun down there. I honestly just wanted to swing by because it was right after I wrapped up the weekend in Kansas City before I headed down to Tennessee. And I saw, hey, happens to be Kansas City, probably one of the last places that I would have assumed they would have done any kind of World Cup events. But I was like, you know what? Same kind of deal as coming up to D.C. Like, if I don't go to this, chances that we're going to have another World Cup in the U.S. where I have an opportunity like that, probably not going to happen anytime soon. So why not? Swing by, have some fun, meet some really, really cool people from around the world. That was honestly the biggest thing that I wanted to get down there and do, because I'd seen all the TikToks, all the Instagram reels, all the videos, pictures of everybody getting to the United States and loving it. So I wanted to get down there and really see it for myself firsthand.
Yeah, that's awesome. And especially, probably people, a lot of them your age too, traveled here. And that's really groovy, because I know you can make conversation with anybody. So I'm proud of you for that, buddy. Well, and you said also it's 101 degrees up there now?
Yeah, I think, let me just make sure. I heard somebody say like probably 10 or 15 minutes ago that it was like 103. Yeah, it's 101, so I think it probably feels like about 102, 103. It's pretty humid. I don't think I've ever been up to D.C. with this kind of weather. It tends to be cold whenever I'm up here, but it is not too bad. I can't lie. It's definitely well worth it.
Yeah, buddy. Well, I'm super proud of you, but really mostly super happy for you, and glad you decided to go ahead and take that adventure and get up to D.C. and enjoy what is really a beautiful thing up there and celebrating the country. And I'm super proud of you, buddy. I know you'll be home tonight, so you'll be. I'll see you later tonight. But be careful. Have a ton of fun, and can't wait to see more pictures. But I really love you, and I'm really super proud of you, buddy.
Love you too. Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was great to be able to chat a little bit and share some of the experience from down here. It's really, really cool.
No doubt about it. All right. Thanks for representing us over there, buddy. Appreciate you.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
That is Aiden Allman. Love you, bud. Be careful. Yeah, he is. I'm so proud of him. He this is this is how we operated all the time when he was a little kid. We would just like do things and stuff like that. And I'm not taking credit for this. What I'm saying is, I'm actually, it's interesting when you're a parent. It's kind of fun to see your kids kind of feel like they've picked up on some things maybe you laid down for them. And so I love this idea, because this is exactly the kind of person I was. And so it's kind of makes me super proud that there's a sense of adventure and love of the country and just appreciation for your surroundings instilled in him. And it is funny to watch, because it's like, sometimes it's where's Waldo, and next thing I know, I'm in Chicago with Natalie going to the concert, and there he is sending pictures of him kicking a soccer ball outside a World Cup event. So I'm like, dude, so I love that about him. Now, speaking also about young people who are his age, and he was talking about their patriotism and love of their country. I'm also sensing, and this is kind of a little thing, but it's not such a little thing. So Aiden and his group of people in that age group seem to be a lot more focused on tradition than a lot of us were at the time. Because I've noticed, because when Aiden has been home for a couple of weeks this summer, about 3 weeks or whatever, he never leaves the house without, a nice pair of shorts on. He's got a collared shirt. His shirt is tucked in. He's got a belt, and he's just like, he's really so living this really nice sense of tradition and appreciation for things, and I really admire him for that. On top of that, he always opens the door for his lovely girlfriend, which I'm super proud of, because that's what I do, and I love the fact that he does that. But I am telling you, though, he was right. There's a real sense of tradition and appreciation and gratitude among his generation of kids. And I mean gratitude for the opportunities they have, gratitude for the country, and gratitude for all that this country has given them. Now, apparently also, President Trump, even though it's 101 degrees, he's going to be giving a speech at some point, and apparently he's going to be giving this speech, and he said, it might be 2 hours long. I'll stand out there in the heat and do that. So anyway, super fun to talk to Aiden. Oh, and by the way, too, you guys probably remember Aiden because he oftentimes, when I did the morning show, and he was just a little guy, 4 or 5 years old, he'd come into the studio oftentimes and hang out or be on live remotes with me. So a lot of you who have been with me over the years have watched him grow up. So I'm really super proud and happy to share him with you today because it was really something else. Loved it. All right. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the 3 Martini Lunch. Happy Thursday.
There's a most unusual sky.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
And listen anytime, anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, Grasser Home Services, love these guys. And, actually, talking about watching people grow up, Josh Grasser is now partnering with his dad with Grasser Home Services. But when his dad, Shane, first started his connection to Common Sense Radio, when I started it in 2005, 20 years ago, 15 years, whatever it is, I can't count. But anyway, it was started, he was with me, and Josh at that time was kind of just a younger guy. And now, of course, he and his dad are partnering with Grasser Home Services, which is an outstanding outfit. And they recently added plumbing, which is super cool. And so the plumbing factor I've experienced, Jake is one of their plumbers. He came over to the house not too long ago. I had some things wrong with a couple of toilets, so he was able to fix that lickety-splickety. Sean is the electrician that always comes over to the house. Actually, that kind of gets to be a thing because the electricians often get to know your house. And over the years, Sean has really gotten to know my house, and he knows when things, go south. He can help me with that. I had a whole list of things that I needed done. So as I've oftentimes recommended to you, make a list of 10 things that are bothering you in the house. You've got that flickering light in the kitchen. You've got the ceiling fan still in a box sitting in the hallway. It's been there for 6 months. You've got an outlet that you stick a plug in, it keeps falling out. It's driving you crazy. And you also have an outlet someplace that where you don't really want it and you need it moved, they can do that for you. If you are a business and you are needing plumbing or electrical services, they'll do that for you as well. If you're putting a new addition on, whatever, or you're needing to rehab and remove knob and tube, they take care of all of that. And also, folks, don't forget about the backup generator. It actually comes in a variety of colors, and that basically means that it looks very discreet. It matches your house. It can match the color of your house, and you're never even going to really know it's there until the power is out. Your power pops on. Nobody else's does because you have the Grasser Home Services backup generator. And one more thing, when it comes to your job, if you are in the trades, if you are an electrician or whatever, or you want to be, Grasser Home Services is hiring. Check it out. Call Grasser.com. CallGrasser.com.
Hey there, Chris Cooper here, your financial friend with Serenity Wealth Management. Tune in this Sunday right here on News Talk STL, 9 a.m. for the Serenity Wealth Now show. This week, special guest Luke is joining us with Whiskey Dickerson Custom T-shirts and Apparel. We're going to spend some time talking about patriotic T-shirts, the messages behind them, and the financial story hidden within. Check it out right here, News Talk STL, 9 a.m., Serenity Wealth Now show. We'll see you then.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
When you count on Connor, you're getting the timeless American values that have guided our company from day one. Hard work, impeccable service, and honesty. At Connor Roofing, you aren't just getting a roof, you're getting safeguarded by a neighbor who cares. When you count on Connor, you're receiving protection for your home, your family, and your peace of mind.
Visit ConnorRoofing.com. Colombo and Company.
Just over a month away from the August primaries in Missouri as we get ready for the 4th of July weekend. We'll get to the latest Thursday with Virginia Kruta from the Daily Wire and Dr. Randy Tobler.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL. The Allman Report, sponsored by Clayton Sleep Institute. This is Newstalk STL at 1019 991 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
I'm coming home, baby, now. I'm sorry now I ever went away. Every night and day I go and stay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Three Martini lunch on this beautiful Thursday. Be heading over to Powder Monkey in just a little bit. Well, after the show. I still think even last year I said that's the best name for a fireworks stand I've ever heard of. Powder Monkey. I mean, that is, it says fireworks, and it also says something kind of wild like monkey. And, you know, if you imagine fireworks in the hands of a monkey, would be quite interesting to see and probably a little dangerous. So it adds that element to it as well. So I would not want to be in the same room with a powder monkey, but I will definitely get my fireworks from a place called Powder Monkey. That is for sure. All right, so this is, you guys know that I've been on this for a long time, and I'm not the only one, obviously. But the WNBA is an embarrassment and sickening, racist, and deservedly being mostly ignored by most Americans. Caitlin Clark was a godsend, the best thing that ever happened to the WNBA in a long, long time. I actually can't think of what the first thing that was great that happened with the WNBA, but it doesn't make any money. Nobody watches it. Nobody cares. When Caitlin, and they don't. It's like women's soccer. Nobody cares. They don't make any money. They shouldn't be paid like by males because they don't make the money that males do. And that just is the truth. That's not me being a male chauvinist pig. That is absolutely the truth. So, and in fact, if you go to go someplace where there are like 100 people and ask any of them if they ever have watched or seen a WNBA game, they will say no. Now, I would go to see Caitlin Clark play, that is for sure, because she is a great player. She's better than any other player in the WNBA. And that's why someone like Alyssa Thomas hates her. Well, couple reasons why Alyssa Thomas hates Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is white. Caitlin Clark is better than her. And Caitlin Clark is straight. So that's pretty much the nutshell there. But the fact of the matter is, what's worse about all this is that the WNBA and indeed even Caitlin Clark's own coach, Stephanie White, will not defend Caitlin Clark. In fact, I want you to listen to this. Alyssa Thomas is the one who punched Caitlin Clark in the throat and was ultimately suspended. Now, you'll notice that Stephanie White, this is an embarrassing display here, but she uses the term AT. So she's calling this beast who put a fist to one of her players' throats, Caitlin Clark, and refers to her kind of familiar-wise as AT. Oh, yeah, AT. So listen to this.
Yeah, I know. I got AB's sneakers on today. Before we start with questions, I just want to address, what's going on with AT. I think first and foremost, it's absolutely unacceptable. I think as a league, as a whole, there's been so much more toxicity, racism, homophobia, straight out like nonsense, hate nonsense. And it is absolutely unacceptable. Most of this coming from the online community.
And by the way, you realize when she's talking about AT, that's, of course, Alyssa Thomas, the one who put her fist in her player's throat. You notice that she's actually, when she calls things unacceptable, it's not the throat punch that is unacceptable. It's the reaction to the throat punch that's unacceptable. She even refers to it as being homophobic and all this, and racist and all this other stuff.
So this, in my heart of hearts, I believe, not coming from WNBA fans, Indiana Fever fans, I believe that this is people who are using our league, using our players to further divisive agendas.
Yeah, right. Of course, yeah, because it's divisive of us to not like the fact that Alyssa Thomas put her fist in Caitlin Clark's throat. This is unbelievable. This is the coach of the Indiana Fever. This is Caitlin Clark's coach, who is lashing out at people who are criticizing Alyssa Thomas for putting her fist in Caitlin Clark's throat. This is unbelievable.
It's not acceptable. Yes, we have to continue to protect our players. We've got to continue to support our players in our league. We get to play a basketball game. And AT was exactly right. Like, we get to play a basketball game.
Oh, AT, now she's even talking about how right AT is. Oh, we got to play this. We got to play this. We got to play this. It's like, this is unbelievable. Imagine being Caitlin Clark and watching your coach bending over backwards for the person who put the fist in your throat.
And yes, that's going to come with criticism. Yes, that's going to come with fans and the love-hate relationship that they have with players and teams. That is going to come. But it's not hard to not be a jerk. And if you are one of these people that are online doing this, do not call yourself a WNBA fan. Our league is about inclusiveness. Our league is about competition. Our league is about elevating women, elevating marginalized communities, including and being inclusive of all different walks of life.
Yeah. Okay. You just named like 5 reasons to keep not watching the WNBA. Because it's not that we're against inclusiveness, but the WNBA should be about sportsmanship and excellence. And the way she's talking about it is it's about being able to throat punch somebody who you don't like because she's white and better than you, that you need to be able to do that with impunity and without anybody getting in your face about it. So if that's the jungle you want to live in, chick, then go ahead and
that is what our league has always been about from day one. That is what our league will continue to be about, and we will continue to compete at a high level, hold ourselves to a higher standard, continue to be on the forefront of social norms, and we will continue to support one another collectively as a league.
Yeah. I keep hearing you're talking about social norms. So is it a social norm in the WNBA to have some beast putting her fist in the throat of a player just because that player happens to be a different race and better than you? I mean, is that what this is all about? I don't know.
Players, coaches, staff, support staff, everyone. We're about elevating. We are not about demeaning, demanding. We are not about continuing this narrative.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, this is a suck-up to the worst elements of the WNBA. And, man, if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm like, wow. The league doesn't deserve her. I mean, really, but where else is she going to go? That's how it goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Common Sense Radio. It's the 3 Martini Lunch. It's a fancy Thursday, and I'm super happy to be with you on this beautiful run up to the 4th of July.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
Every summer, homeowners make plans: a new grill, a backyard project, a family vacation. But what about the upgrades you could enjoy every single day? Your windows drafty, difficult to open? Your patio entry door has seen better days? Now's the time to make a change. Renewal by Anderson makes replacing windows and doors simple. Beautifully crafted products, professional installation. And right now, save big. Get $1,000 off your patio or entry door and take $400 off each replacement window. And if you schedule your appointment before July 12, get an additional $250 off your entire purchase. Call 877-WINDOWS or visit renewalbyanderson.com. 877-WINDOWS or visit renewalbyanderson.com. Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service.
Celebrate America's 250th anniversary with Monty's Family Fireworks in Troy, Missouri. Located at the corner of Highway 47 and Fairgrounds Road, Monty's Family Fireworks has the best prices in town. You'll get the most bang for your buck with a fantastic selection of fountains, bottle rockets, cakes, firecrackers, and assortments, along with friendly and knowledgeable service that'll help you find what you need to put on a great show. So come on by Monty's Family Fireworks in Troy and get ready to have a blast this 4th of July.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The Northeast is bracing for hot weather today. New York City could get up to 98 today, 100 tomorrow. If that actually happens, as the forecasters say it will, it would be the first time in 14 years. The U.S. economy saw job creation cool sharply heading into the summer months, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. A closer look at the numbers from correspondent Bernie Bennett.
Non-farm payrolls for June increased by a seasonally adjusted 57,000 for the month, slower than the downwardly revised 129,000 added in May, and worse than the 115,000 Dow Jones consensus forecast. The unemployment rate, however, dropped to 4.2% and slightly ahead of the 4.1% where it was a year ago. The move lower was largely due to a slump in the labor force participation rate, which dropped 0.3 percentage points to 61.5, the lowest since March of 2021. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up by 149 points at this hour. The NASDAQ struggling a bit, that high tech index down by 402 points. The S&P 500 off by 53. So is the U.S. a soccer nation? Well, a new survey shows most Americans may still be on the sidelines, even though they do have plenty to cheer about during this World Cup.
A new poll from Ipsos Sports shows the World Cup has piqued many Americans' interest. Many U.S. adults were excited about the U.S. making it to the knockout round of the World Cup. About 6 in 10 soccer fans say they were extremely or very excited, much higher than the 25% of Americans overall who said the same. The poll was conducted from June 26th through the 28th, after the U.S. advanced from the group stage, but before they won against Bosnia-Herzegovina in the knockout round. Most U.S. soccer fans have been pleased by the U.S. men's national team performance, and the majority are excited for the rest of the World Cup. I'm Marcela Sanchez.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Spring is here, and if you're staring at a home improvement project, wondering how you're going to pay for it, or looking at a big credit card bill piling up, I want you to know about my friends Mike and Brian and the team at Fellowship Home Loans. For over 20 years, Mike and Brian have been helping families like yours tap into something they already have, equity in their own home. A HELOC, a cash-out refi, a debt consolidation loan to wipe out those high-interest credit cards. Whatever fits your situation, Fellowship Home Loans will build it around you. Everything's done in-house, one roof, one team, all with a servant-led mentality. From your very first phone call to closing, you're going to get people who know your name and treat you like family. I know. I'm a customer. Right now, they're offering a free mortgage checkup, no pressure, just a real look at your options. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 8.
This hour of News Talk STL, brought to you by Window World of St. Louis. For replacement windows, doors, and siding, call 800-GET-WINDOWS. That's 800-GET-WINDOWS. From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
High temperature today in the mid to upper 90s again, which puts the heat index up to 105 and higher in some spots this afternoon. The difference is we may see an isolated thunderstorm or two this afternoon, and daily rain chances in the forecast moving forward. With the heat remaining in place tomorrow and even on Saturday, and that rain chance picks up a little bit, we'll turn a little bit cooler next week, but it's still going to be pretty hot. In the First Alert Weather Center, I'm KMOV meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Tim Jones here for Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. They've helped me recover from day-to-day aches and pains for years. And here's something special, personal training programs. Whether you're an athlete committed to increasing performance, recovering from an injury, or just want to get healthier and lose weight, their personal training programs will help you reach your goals and stay there. Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, online at cchiropractic.com. That's cchiropractic.com.
It's a brand new show on News Talk STL, JC's Sunday Showgram.
It's all about the holiday weekend Sunday morning, including the time the St. Louis police kicked me off our own VP Fair parade bus. Also, the raid on Arnie Warren's show on KMOX. And we'll go back to 1987. It's the anniversary of the Mets or Pond Scum flyover at Busch Stadium. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on newstalkstl.com.
Remember when food tasted like home? When breakfast was made from scratch and dessert was worth saving room for? At Shorty's Diner, we're serving up down-home breakfasts, lunches, and desserts just like Mom used to make. Fresh, from scratch, every single day. Step back in time with us, where the booths are cozy, Elvis is always in the building, and every plate feels like a hug. On Lackland and Westport, or online at shortysdiners.com. Shorty's Diner. It's not fancy. It's not fat-free. It's just the way it used to be.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, live and local.
Listen to what those local folks are telling you.
News Talk STL. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Thursday to all of you and yours. And this is basically the Friday. This is a fancy Thursday because we will be off tomorrow as the wonderful, beautiful 4th of July celebrations begin. And I just talked to Ethan Way out there. Going to be going over to Powder Monkey after this. Check it out, you guys. And it's very cool. Look it up. They actually have an online location, too, down the Ozarks. So love these guys. And Chris and these guys are all fantastic people. And it's a ton of fun. Now, you guys are like, well, where do you blow off fireworks? Anywhere we want to. So, what do you think the cops are going to come and get you for blowing off a few bottle rockets here and there? I'm not going to tip this off, but I actually attend an event in Webster Groves, and we blow off a crap ton of fireworks there. I mean, and these are the ones that are like the big, giant, cannon fodder type of stuff. They go up and they explode and all that kind of stuff, and fireworks are great. And I know people are always worry about safety, and I get that. I want to be safe too, but at the same time, you have to understand that sometimes you just got to have fun. Now, keep in mind, unlike in the old days, people, we used to have like bottle rocket fights. Johnny, you guys have bottle rocket fights and things like that, and Roman candle fights?
In my teenage years,
Yeah.
when I was experimenting and slightly intoxicated, but I'm a calculated risk guy, and that's idiot behavior.
Well, we used to do this, and it didn't matter. Sometimes you would use Coke bottles or whatever, but actually the best thing to do would be to take, those plastic wiffle ball bats, and what you do is you saw the top off the wiffle ball bat, and then you put these are tips for you kids out there. You put the bottle rocket in there, and then you light the bottle rocket, and all you do is point the bat. It's about like 3.5 feet long, so you can put it away here, and then hold it, and then it'll shoot from the bat. It's a great tool for when you're doing your bottle rocket
being
wars.
Smart about being stupid. So
right, exactly. Or you can do the other thing, which is kind of a lazy way to do it, is you just hold the bottle rocket in your hand, light it, and just throw it up into the air. That's always a crowd pleaser when you do that. And then also don't forget about the Roman candles. Like a Roman candle fight, a good old-fashioned Roman candle fight is great. And, just chasing people around and making them hide behind things so that they don't get shot with your Roman candle. That's another crowd pleaser as well. So just want to let you guys.
Just barehanded.
Yeah. No, we used to do really stupid things, though. We used to take firecrackers and unpeel them and make like these big mounds of whatever that is, gunpowder or whatever it is. You'd like unpeel the firecrackers, so you have this big mound, and then of course you'd light it and go, it's like freaking crazy. And if you don't want to like look at it or anything, because you'll go blind. All right. Speaking of adventures, so this was that story about the people who are. Oh, look, I'm seeing a news on Newsmax. We're talking about a poll. American pride hits 25-year low. What a hunk of garbage that is. I mean, you just heard from my son, Aiden, who's up there at the fair and decided to go, I'm only 7 hours away. I'll just go and kind of go by there on my way back to St. Louis from Tennessee, which, you think that's low American pride? Hell no. Among Democrats, independent, pride hits new low. Let me tell you something. How could you possibly have a lack of pride in the United States of America because of your politics? That makes you someone who I don't even want voting, or why don't you go to another country? If you don't have pride in this country right now, you ought to leave. That's just the bottom line. Or maybe listen to somebody from Scotland or some other country where the people came here to watch the World Cup games and saw a country that had people who are filled with joy, who are enjoying life. It doesn't matter whether you're enjoying life at a Buc-ee's or what have you, or in your neighborhood. But they were amazed by how Americans were in reality when they didn't, when they only get their feeling from the news and from other snotty politicians. But, and it's not just even, it was really kind of quaint, though, to have people come over here from foreign countries and say, they give free refills here. Like, I mean, it's like I went to the restaurant in Chicago, and they gave free refills of Coca-Cola. And I didn't realize how special that was until I heard from people on the internet who were from foreign countries who were like going, in Europe, we do not get free refills. Like, I know that's not like a big deal necessarily, but it's emblematic of just the way that we live, and we live with a lot of swagger, a lot of frivolity. We've got a president who has more swagger and frivolity and jocularity than perhaps any president before him, except, of course, for Teddy Roosevelt. President Trump reminds me a lot of Teddy Roosevelt because Teddy Roosevelt had personality. Not everybody kind of agrees with his policies. Some people call him a liberal, whatever, even though he's a Republican, but whatever. But he reminds me in personality-wise in just how he kind of embraces the moments and embraces the country. He reminds me a lot of Teddy Roosevelt. It's perfectly appropriate that he is at the Teddy Roosevelt Library as well. But how a person could not be proud of America. I mean, if anything, if you ask me what I'm not proud of in America, I'm not proud of people who are not proud of America. I'm not proud of the fraudsters. I'm not proud of the Congresswoman Jayapals who disdain crime victims' families and things like that. But that's not a reflection of my country. That's a reflection of those people. And I'm not proud that my country tolerates people like that. I'm not proud that my country tolerates the coach of the Indiana WNBA team. But we do. We put up with it. And maybe actually I should be proud of that, because in other countries you'd be tar and feathering these people. And maybe that's another example of how tolerant we are, that we tolerate people who otherwise would be hung in another country. So maybe that's another great part of the country, is that lots of people who are doing bad things are lucky to be alive in it. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So maybe that's what this is all about. But every time this happens, and I don't know why, for instance, even people like Newsmax or somebody might even report on this, but why do we fall into this trap every single time? Boy, that fairgrounds, the Great American State Fair really looks cool. I just talked to Aiden there, and when he was talking to me about the booths and all that kind of stuff in all the states, that really looks cool. That's something to go to. I mean, it's the next 16 days. Maybe I'll get Aiden to go with me again and go up there, but it really looks cool. But why do we fall into the trap? It happens every July 4th, by the way, that somebody goes out and does a poll on whether people are proud of America or not. And the fact of the matter is, I don't care if you're not proud of America. You think I care what you think? I don't care 1 ounce of what you think or what other people think. So, I'm not crapping on Newsmax necessarily, but why does Newsmax think that I need to know that Democrats and independents are at an all-time low in pride of America? No kidding. Have you seen these people in action lately? And I don't even know what an independent is, by the way. What the hell is an independent? But anyway, I don't care what you think. It's like, I don't need to know that you're not proud to be an American. But why do we fall for this every time? You realize this happens, for instance, on every major holiday, especially the religious ones. Like, every Christmas, remember this when Time Magazine was a thing or whatever, or Newsweek, if they still exist. Every Christmas time or on the holiday season, they would do some, 7-page story about whether or not the star that appeared in the sky for the 3 wise men was really real, or what was it, or what have you. And so they always try to debunk, things like the birth of Christ. Then what happens is when it comes time for Easter, they do a 7-page story debunking the crucifixion or doing whatever. It's always something where these people run around and try to kill our buzz all the time. And the news media is really bad at it. Like they're really bad at it, which is why it's so weird that a story that I find to be one of the most compelling stories of the week, if not the month, is this marriage proposal at the top of the Empire State Building. And there's a reason why this isn't being covered. You saw it, you found out what they were doing, and you haven't seen one shred of video of it since. You know why? Because it was just a couple, and he proposed to her at the top of the Empire State Building, and they had a sign that said peace and love and all this kind of stuff, but that doesn't interest the news media. They don't care about that. This was great. Listen to this. Yeah.
Perhaps proposing to this individual.
Oh my gosh.
It appears now that one of these protesters has paused at the platform there beneath the full height of the spire, either to position something or to move something, whether there's going to be an additional unfurling or not. We don't know the intention of these people. But if these people can get up to where they are, that raises a host of security questions. And they've seemingly done it, Kira, without any carabiner or belay ropes. Oh dear God, Kira, this guy is getting down on a knee, perhaps proposing to this individual.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Aaron, I think that's exactly what could be happening. I wish WABC would just move a little bit more around so we could see what he's doing down on his knee. This is crazy.
I would imagine if it's a proposal, it's an elaborate one, and I hope she said yes. But it is undoubtedly.
She was a douchebag. I mean, seriously? Just let the lady talk, will you?
Going to end in their arrest.
Aaron, I hope this is not
Yes.
Taylor. I hope this is not Taylor and
I mean, okay, but you get the drift here. This is like the coolest story I've seen in a long time. I hope that I hope they don't go to jail, whatever. And it's exceeding now, unless I'm being tricked or whatever. It's exceedingly romantic. It's absolutely daredevilish, and it's really cool, especially the week of the 4th of July. I don't know why that's so cool, but it just so happens that it fits in a week when we're celebrating our independence in this great country, and just the craziness and the randomness of things happening, I think, is the coolest darn thing. But for the very same reasons, I think this is the coolest thing and a romantic thing and a positive story. And wow, I want to hear from those two. I want to see them interviewed. I want to see what's going on here. For the very same reasons, I find this absolutely great and almost intoxicating. It's being ignored because they've got to move on to, independents are not proud of America. And they got to move on to, all this other stuff. And so the news media doesn't want to tell positive stories. This is a cool story. But you could tell even the anchorman is like, well, I don't know. They might be in trouble. I don't know. Well, if it is a marriage proposal, it certainly is an elaborate one. You think? I mean, my goodness gracious, dude. Would you grow up in your socks in your basement your whole life? My goodness, well, it certainly is. I don't know about this. I mean, and you could tell the woman gets it because she's like, this is really super cool and whatever. And I that's why it's not being covered, but it should be. And I love the story. So I want to know who those people are. Do you guys know anything about this? Because I can't find anything about them anywhere. Greg is saying, I'm loving the memes with the banner from the climbers. One had, Trump's your daddy. I love that. Or, we've been trying to contact you about your extended warranty. Yeah, that's funny. Another great example of Americans, especially on X, having a little fun with everything, I mean, just kind of, and there's nothing better when really smart, funny people get on X and start generating memes. That's like, it's hilarity town at that point. Hey, you are listening to the 3 Martini Lunch Common Sense Radio.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, I want you to check out Window World and see what's going on there, because Window World is having an auction that's starting to begin online there, and I will tell you about that in a second. But first, I want to tell you about the Window World windows. And I want to tell you that Window World right here in beautiful St. Louis, right there in Earth City, Window World windows are absolutely just incredible. And let me tell you something about what the proof of that is. Well, first of all, it's not just the good housekeeping seal of approval. It's not that. And it's not just the incredible acknowledgement by Remodeler Magazine that they're the number one choice for remodelers. And I know that for a fact because I have actually seen this in living color as a real estate agent, where I am absolutely just really happy about how this is going. So I'm showing these rehabbed homes, and I'm seeing the rehabbed homes. I'm seeing Window World windows everywhere. Well, that should tell you everything. Window World is also very, very happy to have a lifetime warranty on the windows, and that is very cool too. That lifetime warranty covers breakage and labor and all that other mother jazz. So it's really very cool to have the Window World window. Plus, they look good. They're double pane windows, thermally superior to all the rest. A whole house project you'll be able to finance, and that'll be fantastic too. So I also, speaking of the auction, I want you to go to windowworldstlouis.com. That's the website for this auction I'm telling you about. To get the windows, 1-800-GET-WINDOWS, 1-800-GET-WINDOWS. So there's a big remodel package that they're having on there. And, of course, this is all out there right now as of June 29th. And so I want to make sure you know I'll tell you, it's a full remodeler. And it is the Window World Home Remodel Auction to benefit Action for Autism. Opening bidding started yesterday, and all you have to do is register to bid, all that kind of stuff, and then they're going to choose, auction-wise, who's going to get that major league remodel. So let me tell you something. This is where you go, windowworldstlouis.com, windowworldstlouis.com for the auction, and that's benefiting autism and autism research, which is really cool that they're doing this. And for your windows, 1-800-GET-WINDOWS, 1-800-GET-WINDOWS.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering from Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most. Your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
There's an old way to buy a mattress, and there's a new way. You know what's funny? People spend more time reading reviews for a blender than choosing the mattress they'll sleep on every night. We've always thought that was backwards. At Snooze Mattress Company, we use advanced pressure mapping technology to help match your body to the right sleep system. No guessing, no pressure, just a better way to shop for better sleep. Stop in during our 4th of July event sale. When you sleep better, everything gets better.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
The Allman Report, sponsored by Window World, 800-GET-WINDOWS.
Kind of stuck in a yes swirl here on this Thursday. I don't know why. I just kind of was listening to a bunch of old jazz standards last night and played a couple of those, and Anita O'Day and everything else, and now I'm back to my bong hitting days.
What's the count? 6, 7, 8. I produced a fishing show here with Mark McMurray, who owns Bluff City Outdoors.
Yeah.
He was talking. He brought up Yes, that he had saw him when he was younger, and I said it was a bunch of sweaty dudes standing around counting, wasn't it? 6, 7, 8, like, with the odd. I can't even do an odd meter. I can only count to 4.
Yeah, I wish. That's the one thing I do regret is I wish that I had seen Yes in concert, because John Anderson, Chris Squire, these guys are Rick Wickman. I mean, these guys are amazing.
I'm familiar with Wickman. I'm a bit of a synthesizer nerd, but
Oh, yeah?
I still can only count to 4. We're not counting 13, 18, or whatever their meter is.
So if you're a synthesizer guy, are you a Hammond organ guy too?
I'm familiar with the
Okay.
Hammond. I when I was a much younger man, I stumbled across a Leslie.
Oh, yeah.
At an estate sale, and I just had to call someone else to come get it because I was like, I started going down the rabbit hole, and I was like, this is never going to work.
Yeah,
This is never
I
gonna
know,
work.
but still.
And we had used one in the studio before. Like, oh, you guys got a Leslie? Well, drag it out. 'Cause we're gonna...
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with that kind of stuff. Even
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the way back to like probably seeing the Fairlight on the Cosby Show as a kid, where Stevie Wonder brought out the Fairlight, which was the first sampling synthesizer, and he recorded Bill Cosby and them. And, and I remember the episode, and he was playing their voices back, similar to Ferris Bueller's in Sonic.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I would have loved to have. I would have loved to have seen them in concert. As a kid, I didn't see a whole lot of concerts, but I do remember Eric Clapton coming once, and my mom telling me I was too young to go see him, so I just had to sit at home, so I couldn't go to see Clapton. My first concert ever was Black Sabbath and Van Halen, and Van Halen opened for them.
That I read part of the manager of Van Halen's biography, and he had mentioned that was, and then in Ozzy's biography as well, mentioned some of the same stuff.
Yeah.
that was a tour. So you missed Yes, but that is pretty
The
legendary.
Van Halen thing, we actually kind of left about 2 songs into Black Sabbath because we were there to see Van Halen. So,
oh, you were already hip because they were saying that it was Van Halen mania was starting to spread across the country.
yeah, but we were already into it.
And people were picking up on it, but they were still kind of, they were still just opening for Sabbath.
Yeah.
And people.
I think so, yeah, because I had heard we were really into them, so I was actually surprised at the time. I remember being surprised they opening as an opening act, because I always thought the opening acts were like unknown people, but by the time they hit St. Louis,
I think you were just hip. I think you were just kind of plugged
Maybe.
in, and a kind of young guy on the cutting edge at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I named my cat Van Halen. That's how I was. How we were so enthralled.
Are you a Van Hagar guy too, or?
Yeah. I mean, Sammy Hagar is awesome, but I've always liked the original Van Halen.
Well, I think David Lee Roth is the greatest frontman in rock and roll, pretty much.
No doubt.
I didn't really care for Van Hagar because I'm a contrarian.
Yeah,
And St. Louis's love affair with Hagar is kind of inexplicable to me.
Totally.
I don't think he's the great. I don't hate the man, but I don't think he's the greatest. And after the loss of Eddie Van Halen, I am taking in some of the Van Hagar era stuff, and I was like, there's riffs in there. 'Cause I play guitar too, and I was like, I don't want to hear Sammy sing. I want to hear Eddie play.
Yep.
And I was like, man, that is kind of a riff. I feel bad. I've ignored this, for so long, but revisiting it, I was like, oh, that's all. We're not going to get any more Eddie, so that's what we got.
Yeah. David Lee Roth was. I mean, when we were kids, we were just astounded. We could, because I was probably, it was 1979 or 79 or 78, late 78, whatever. I was just a kid, and we had never seen a performer like David Lee Roth before in rock and roll. We were always, we saw Yes and these guys, but never saw anybody like jumping around and doing all this stuff.
Full karate.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. So that was we also liked him for that reason. And then of course, another Eddie, I saw Eddie Money and Angel.
I always wanted to see Eddie Money. I had a really cool uncle who always reminded me of Eddie Money.
Yeah.
And he always would, and I think one of the last chances was when he came to River City or something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to see him. And then now, Eddie Money, rest in peace.
I saw him down at actually Jefferson Barracks Park or something. He was down there for some KC event. But when I went to see him, Angel opened for him. And Angel was this hair band.
The Tower. That's the only thing. I have one song. That's the one I know is The Tower.
And they came out of the stage, in these boxes, they kind of lifted out of the stage. It was really crazy. And then Eddie Money was there. But I remember going there because I wasn't old enough to drive. So maybe this was actually my first concert because I wasn't old enough to drive. But I had a girlfriend. I don't know how that happened. I still don't remember it very well. But she was a couple years older than I was. So I was 15. She was 17 years old.
I have the same story.
Who you do?
I had a 17-year-old girlfriend. Yeah, probably. Well, we're the same age right now.
She probably got around.
She probably dropped you off and picked me up.
But I remember going with her. She was very sweet, though. I wish I knew where she was because she was very nice. But she was 17. I was 15. And I was, like, super intimidated. But, I don't know.
It didn't stop you.
It did actually. I wasn't that kind of kid, But anyway, yeah, I remember. But I do remember. And Eddie Money was really good, man. That was like in his heyday. So that had to be like
I was going to see Fat Sweaty well beyond his heyday, Eddie. But I still didn't care.
Yeah, no.
Like I wanted to hear "Baby Hold On to Me" and do Tickets to Paradise.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. So. This was disturbing. You guys, to change subjects, I don't really like this. Even surprised me by Stephen A. Smith standards, right? So as you all know, I have a very healthy mistrust of Stephen A. Smith, and I think Stephen A. Smith is a clown. I think he's a poser, and I don't think he's particularly bright. And I'm not one of those people, kind of like Bill Maher, a lot of radio hosts, and I've fallen into this trap before. Some guy who otherwise calls Trump a Nazi and a fascist and all this kind of stuff says one nice thing about him, and we're like, oh, listen to Bill Maher, what he has to say about Donald Trump. Like we actually should be caring about what Bill Maher says about Donald Trump. Stephen A. Smith is the same type. For a while there, he would kind of dabble out there because in the world of politics, whatever, and sometimes say some nice things about President Trump or whatever, and then we'd say, well, listen to Stephen A. Smith and what he says. It's like, and most people, you probably were more intelligent at the time, were like, why am I listening to Stephen A. Smith again? Isn't he like a sports guy or something? But this is surprising even from Stephen A. Smith's standpoint. At first I thought, is this like AI or something? And it's not. It's him talking about the L.A. Lakers. Listen to this.
Where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think they going with a bunch of white dudes? Your 3 top players are white dudes? Really? This ain't golf. This ain't baseball. Hell, it ain't even soccer. What y'all think this is? It's basketball.
I mean, can you believe that? I mean, this guy's talking. I mean, how are you? And again, you tell me, is this racist or not? Because, let's just pretend it was me. It's me, right? And let's see. I'm trying to think of a scenario. Like, because soccer has black people in it. Golf, our golf team. And what if I came out and said, there's no way, like the U.S., let's just pretend it's the USA golf team. Why would you put your 3 top golfers are black? Black people don't play golf. I mean, can you imagine if I said that? That'd be terrible. Or your Olympic swim team has the top ones are 3 black people. And what if I said something? It would be terrible. But but the problem is, and that's kind of a problem in our culture anyway, is that the only people who can really be racist are white. And I'm guessing that Stephen A. Smith has forgotten about Larry Bird. And I don't know whether you guys know the full story about Larry Bird, and I think it was Magic Johnson, right? His buddy.
They were rival, and I've seen clips of other NBA players talking about Larry Bird, and they said he was the meanest.
Yeah.
And besides playing, he talked the most trash.
Yep.
And would threaten you.
Yeah.
And would do Jordan-esque stuff like say, "Oh, you think you're going to do this?
Yeah.
No, watch this."
Yeah.
And he would just be just a jerk.
Yeah, I think there's a documentary out there with Larry Bird and it's all about that relationship they had with Magic Johnson, at least. But yeah, I saw some of those clips of the black players saying, "Man, he was for real,"
and they're all terrified of Larry Bird.
Yeah, I forgot what the term they used. It was really funny though. But he was the deal. And Bird, but Larry Bird is a great example of that. The Boston Celtics. Yeah. Let's see, Barbara. You want to talk about? Okay, good. I want to get to that. But anyway, I can't believe that Stephen A. Smith is saying this, and I'm not quite sure whether it's some kind of a gag or what it is. But when somebody is so outwardly weird like that, and obviously stereotyping and doing all the things like you're not supposed to do necessarily. Obviously, it's great to be honest and that kind of thing. But boy, if a white person ever said black people don't know how to golf, that kind of thing, and they do, by the way. Tiger Woods, but still, this is really outrageous. Anyway, Barbara put this up there. The Climbers have a Netflix documentary from 2024 called Skywalkers, A Love Story. Angela Nicolau and Ivan Bekas, they go all over the world to do this stuff. That's fascinating. I really like them. I really want to know more about their love. What a great movie that would be, And the ending shouldn't be that they fell off something. I don't want that to happen. That was somebody would do with the movie, is they do the movie and then they'd wind up the last part of the movie, they'd fall off something. But I don't want them to do that. Anyway, Barb, thanks for that. That's great. I'm glad you guys have done homework for me that I was apparently too lazy to do. But thank you. It's called Skywalker's A Love Story. Man, you know what? And it's about time we had that kind of love story, because I think that's really very cool. But you know what? As I told you earlier, there's a reason why you're not seeing 1 second of the video anymore, because it's too good of a story, and the news media doesn't want to tell good stories. I mean, that's just... It is shocking. I've been watching the TV to try and see if I could see anybody covering this after yesterday. And I'm thinking to myself, you guys know what these two lovebirds did yesterday? They climbed to the top of the Empire State Building. The guy proposed to her at the top of the Empire State Building. That is badass. Thank you, Barbara, for giving us a heads up. Skywalker's A Love Story from 2024. Good for them. I'm glad to know that love is alive and well in this beautiful country of ours. It's Common Sense Radio, the 3 Martini Lunch. Brenda Talent, straight ahead from the Show Me Institute.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Well, it's Thursday, and Thursday is the day I love telling you about Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill, because I like to take you into the weekend with a good appetite for Cajun food, which is coming from the recipes of Harry Parker's lovely mom and dad, his history down there in New Orleans. He brings that up to St. Louis, St. Peter's location, as well as the original one right there in Creve Coeur. And, of course, he is giving you all the joyousness of like a New Orleans-style restaurant. You've got music playing. He's got these really cool aquariums. Everything is kind of decorated really sweetly, New Orleans style. And then, of course, you've got the food. You've got the crawfish etouffee. You have the gumbo. They make all their own sauces. They cut all their own fish, making all their own spices. It's really very cool. The fish tacos, I always direct people to, because that's really, fish tacos are a favorite of mine. And you can get the mahi-mahi tacos. You can get the red snapper tacos. You can get them fried, blackened, whatever it happens to be. And then, of course, you also have great catfish dishes. It's just a ton of fun. And let me tell you something about what I like about restaurants like Harry Parker's. He respects the people who go there. And you know what that means? That means the portions are really great. They're big. They're huge. The tacos, they come 2 tacos, but they're giant, right? You know how disappointing it is sometimes when you get fish tacos and they come in those little metal things and they're like about 3 inches long. That's not what these are. These are giant tacos. You're going to love them. And then, of course, the side dishes and everything else you can choose, which is great. Happy hour is always a ton of fun because you look at a situation where, in the end, what you can do is get the happy hour drink specials, the hurricanes, all that kind of stuff, and you'll absolutely adore it. Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill.com. That's Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill.com.
Looking to celebrate the 4th of July with a bang? Then look no further than Powder Monkey Fireworks. We've got bottle rockets, fountains, cakes, mortars. Our selection is endless with low prices and no gimmicks. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you choose the perfect fireworks to make your holiday unforgettable. You'll go bananas at Powder Monkey, Highway 94 in St. Charles, on Westwood in Weldon Spring, and on Brendel in Rocky Mount. Don't want to fight the crowds? Order online at powdermonkeyfireworks.com.
At Body of Health, we're a small but mighty family operation with big ambitions for your health. I'm Helene Tobler, and I'm jazzed about how our MRI-grade body composition analyzer is putting personalized health and wellness on steroids. It helps me and Dr. Tobler, that's my husband, refine the advice we give to help you feel better and live longer. Body of Health, trusted, discerning, affordable health care the way it ought to be. Learn more at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
Hey, it's Mike Ferguson. Mario's Donut Restaurant, that's your place to go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From mouth-watering sandwiches, omelets, delicious gyros, and Mexican dishes, to their revamped menu with cannolis, tiramisu, baklava, and danishes. And don't forget those famous donuts. Dine in or carry out, Mario's friendly staff is ready to serve you with love and care. Mention Newstalk STL when you visit, or just visit mariosdonutrestaurant.com.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
The story behind the story. This month, 1950, we entered a police action. My dad says it was a war.
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. The Allman Report, sponsored by Buckingham Pest Control and Insulation. Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy 3 Martini lunch. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Somebody up on the Rumble page apparently got a little chip going on there on that shoulder. If you think climbing to the top of the Empire State Building is badass, what do you think about a fireman going into a burning building? Well, dude, I think that's badass too, but I didn't know that was the conversation.
That's a whataboutism.
I guess. I mean, apparently something triggered him about me saying something about people climbing in. Hey, listen, dude.
That's what people do when you say something. Well, what about?
Yeah, well,
something that has nothing to do with the other thing.
Right. I mean, I love firefighters, but dude, you posting that, don't confirm what police officers say about you. Good afternoon, everyone. You police officers and firefighters know that one. This guy is a little out. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Brenda Talent. Yes, indeed. Coming in on this pre-July 4th holiday with a little tidbit of information from our guys at the Show Me Institute. Brenda Talent, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you, Jamie?
I am doing fantastic. So, all right. So we've got this, I love how you guys focus so much on education because it's a super important topic for you guys. And you always are right on top of things, including, test score, excellence, and quality of education, all this kind of stuff. And what about Missouri's education leadership crisis, as you all call that? What is that all about?
Well, we've gone a long time, honestly, without really effective leadership at our Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And I'm not going to trouble all of your listeners with that long history. Let's just say we've gone years and years and years, both at the commissioner level and at the State Board of Education level. But there's a new sheriff in town. The governor appoints the members of the Board of Education, and he's appointed a number of new board members who we're very optimistic are really looking hard at what the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education is doing, and for short, I will call that DESE. And they're not that excited about the performance of that particular bureaucracy. The Commissioner of Education resigned, so the Board of Education is the one who hires a new state commissioner, and that's what they're going to be doing. They've appointed an interim one, but we are very hopeful that they will look for someone who's not going to be beholden to the status quo, someone who can shake up the education system and say, I'm going to hold you accountable and we're going to be transparent. And it will be, again, a new game where perhaps we can begin catching up with some of our other state competitors where we've seen if you bring in a commissioner who is really a visionary, a change agent, one who believes in accountability, believes in the mission of teaching children how to read and write and do math, you can make a real difference in the performance of your schools and creating greater opportunity, most importantly, for the kids you're educating.
Yeah. So now when you say, and I'm going to double back, I'm going to claim a little ignorance here. When you say the education commissioner, is that the superintendent of schools, or is it?
Well, if you want to think of it like at the state level, right? So
Okay.
At the state level, we have a state board of education. Those people are appointed by the governor, and those appointments have to be approved by the Senate. The Board of Education selects a commissioner of education who runs that at the state level, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. They're the ones who, for example, accredit school districts within our state. And school districts have superintendents, and then schools have principals. I mean, if you want to talk about administrative bureaucracy, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
So but DESE is supposed to hold every school district in the state accountable for whether they should be accredited or not. Now, interestingly enough, nearly every district in our state is accredited, even those who are chronically low performing, even those where the test scores keep sliding. So we don't really have, in my humble opinion, a system that is holding our public schools accountable. And at the same time, we have a system which keeps demanding more and more money for worse results.
Yeah. So I've asked you about this before, and I know you all have mixed views about this, but I'm going to direct your attention to the state of Oklahoma, where they have a very active superintendent, but that superintendent is elected. And seemingly that makes a difference, and maybe even a more positive difference, if the superintendent of schools, or the commissioner in this case, is an elected position, as opposed to something that is appointed by a bunch of educational bureaucrats and everything else. Do you think that that's a good direction to take? Is moving it into an elected position?
Other states have it, obviously, and it varies. I have not actually looked at, do you get better results if it's elected or not?
Yeah.
What I would say is that our system is one, it seems uniquely designed to avoid accountability. And why do I say that? Because it's unusual for a governor to have as many appointments as Governor Kehoe has had during his first term, because these terms are staggered. They're meant to actually be reflective of different governing styles. And then so you have the Board of Education. Then they hire the Commissioner of Education. And that commissioner is the one running DESE. So let's just say, for example, we do not have a strong literacy program in the state of Missouri, which we know other states have in place. Who is accountable for that? Well, we could say it's the state legislature, because the state legislature certainly could put something in statute requiring that. But, Jamie, you might be surprised to learn DESE could put something in place that basically requires that.
Yeah.
For example, they can say no teacher will be certified in the state of Missouri unless they know how to teach phonics. Other states have done that. We haven't done that. That can happen at the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education level. So one of the frustrations I've constantly voiced is I want to know where the buck stops. And you can find hearings from the Board of Education meetings where basically everyone is sort of like, well, we don't know where the buck stops. And it's a little bit crazy. And you also hear, well, local control. No, you know what? At the state level, we're giving enough money. We can set standards. And I do think one of the positives of if you were electing someone is that you could hold them accountable. It's sort of the buck stops there. You failed in your job. Now, having said that, we're seeing right now with a Board of Education that's stronger and more committed, at least given what they've done so far, to trying to ensure that we're providing excellent education to our children, to hold the commissioner accountable. So at least we currently, and again, I'm qualifying this because they're going to be engaging in this search, and we'll see whether they, select someone who's part of the system and who is beholden to the system, or whether they will think outside the box and get a change agent who, again, my criteria is simple. They need to believe in transparency and accountability in the sense of you don't perform, you're not accredited.
Yeah.
You don't perform, we're going to look at whether there have to be interventions. And things like you will teach phonics so the children will learn to read, and that is a commitment that we're going to make as a state. The ribble effects of a poor education, we all know what that means.
Yeah.
Not a great workforce. People don't come to our state. We need to turn this ship around. And
all right. Well, I guess
I've said it before.
In the short time we have,
we've got the tools.
Yeah. Okay. In the short time we have left, then what does do it? Is it legislative?
I would say it's all of the above, because there are things you'd want to put into statute, like, for example, the literacy program that would be very clear about retention if you're not able to pass these tests at the end of third grade. I would say that the Board of Education can also shore that up by what they do from a regulatory and internal perspective. Jamie, and I'll say very quickly, our governor issued an executive order to require report cards for our schools. Maybe we should start a pool and we'll actually get those report cards, because it does seem like the bureaucracy is trying to tread water rather than, get to the shore.
Boy, I totally agree, and I appreciate all that you guys at the Show Me Institute are doing to put this kind of pressure, because I don't see too many people who are keeping an eye on what is going on with our educational system the way you all are doing it. So, Brenda Talent, thank you so much. Wishing you a blessed Independence Day, and tell Jimmy hello, too, and hope you have a good one.
You too. Take care.
All right. That is Brenda Talent with the Show Me Institute. And All In Man came back and said, hey, nothing triggers me. What's important is what people think about climbing to the top of a building. Those people were all about self-aggrandizing themselves. It's all about clicks, and that's true about pretty much anything you see out there. We were just talking about the people performing in concert. I mean, everything it's all a performative type of thing, and I don't have any problem with it when it's positive. And if some of your concern is that why do we make heroes out of people climbing the Empire State Building and nobody makes heroes out of firefighters? It's like, well, you're talking to the wrong guy about that problem, about the equal appreciation of people and for what people do, and especially our first responders. So I don't think there's any problem with that. So anyway, all right, you say have a blessed day. I do too. So all positive in this beautiful country of ours, my friends. Johnny, thanks so much. You guys have a super blessed Independence Day. Enjoy. And I really appreciate you listening to the show today on this fancy Thursday. And the 3 Martini Lunch has hereby ended. Coming up next, Tony Colombo and Company here on News Talk STL.
work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5, paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
Independence, integrity, innovation. The values that America and Stiefel have embodied since day one. On the 250th anniversary of this great nation, we are proud to say that doing things our way is exactly how we've helped so many American dreams come true in such a profoundly American way. Stiefel, where success meets success.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The country's largest city is bracing for an action-packed weekend of 4th of July events. Here's correspondent Laura Winters.
Law enforcement in the nation's largest city on high alert. There are no known specific or credible threats to this year's celebrations. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says the harbor will be loaded with boats and tall ships as part of the America 250 celebration. And then there's the annual Macy's 4th of July fireworks, which draws thousands of people. Our intelligence division, our joint terrorism task force, and our counterterrorism teams continue to monitor every possible lead, both domestic and international, in real time. Laura Winters reporting.
The administration proposing a new rule to keep hospitals from charging markups on some discounted drugs for Medicare patients.
The administration says this could save consumers $1.1 billion next year. The rule would apply to hospitals that serve low-income patients under what's known as the 340B program, which lets hospitals buy outpatient prescription drugs at discounted prices. But in many cases, hospitals can bill insurance at rates that exceed those costs, allowing hospitals to keep the difference and resulting in higher costs to patients.
That is correspondent Bernie Bennett. Stocks responding after this morning's jobs market report.
I'm Seth Sutel, and this is Markets in a Minute. Stocks are mostly rising on Wall Street after the latest update on the job market suggested the Federal Reserve may feel less pressure to raise interest rates. The S&P 500 rose 0.3% in the first hour of trading Thursday. The Dow rose 397 points, that's about 0.8%. The NASDAQ Composite slipped 0.2% as several big chip companies fell, including Advanced Micro Devices. National Beverage jumped 13%. The company behind LaCroix sparkling drinks said it would pay a special dividend to shareholders. Seth Sutel, New York.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Are you tired of feeling lousy? Maybe you had a scare at your last checkup or just walking hurts? When enough is enough, call PhD Weight Loss. When I had enough 4 years and 53 pounds ago, I knew I couldn't do it alone. I'm Mike Gallagher for PhD Weight Loss. Best phone call I ever made. They were right with me. They still are today. Right now, mention Mike. You'll get 2 free weeks added to the program, and they'll pay for the cost of your food. $1,500 value. Call 864-644-1900, 864-644-1900, or visit visit myphdweightloss.com.
In 1812, America won its religious freedom. Now, that constitutional right has been attacked from inside our own government.
We all of a sudden became the enemy.
I got 6 months house arrest, 5 years probation.
I'm sorry, our rights have been suspended?
Don't miss the powerful new documentary by Dawn's Early Light, how President Trump's task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias exposed the truth, by Dawn's Early Light. For a limited time, watch it free at ByDawnsEarlyLightFilm.com. By Dawn.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli. We're sitting here with our great friend, Chris Cooper. Hi, Chris.
What's going on, Vic? How are you?
I hear you wrote another book. This one's an e-book. Is that right?
The Business Owner's Playbook for Financial Clarity. So it is a great book for entrepreneurs. It's a very short guide. Give people, business owners, the ability to understand key questions that are important, such as succession planning, legacy planning, getting the IRS out of our pockets, right? Because do you like paying taxes?
I do not.
I don't think anybody likes paying taxes, right? That just makes sense. And then always talking about protection. And then the other thing from a business owner perspective, what is the biggest asset a business owner has? Probably their business itself, right? We need to make sure we understand what the value of that business is as well.
So this new book, I'm sure, is incredibly expensive, right? How much?
No, it's a free resource.
Oh, it's free.
We provide guidance, we provide education, because we want to make sure people feel educated and understanding, because sometimes you don't know what questions to ask, and we need to make sure we help arm people with information to ask the right question.
Reach out to